go. Let's begin. We're going to do some turtle tricks today. I'm going to teach you a few things that are totally unnecessary, but people like to do them, such as changing the color of the background for your turtle sandbox. But I'm also going to teach you to do a few other interesting little things too, where we can make more elaborate shapes than squares and triangles and just geometric shapes that we could program in, for example, the golden ratio and how you could do something like that. Okay. In fact, that might be a really fun thing to do if anybody can create one of those golden ratio spirals, right? The magic spiral that shows up in nature regularly. I'm going to make something similar to that today, but it is a little bit different as I'll be able to show you here in a bit. But we're going to start off with something really simple here, okay? I'm just going to show you real quickly when you open up a screen how to change the background color so it's not just a plain white background. And you can choose any color scheme you want here. You don't have to go with the one I'm typing in. You just have to do it in the same way. All right, guys, so we need to import our turtle module. So go ahead and type in import turtle. Okay, and we need to open up our turtle window. So remember, WN is short for window, and we're going to say equals turtle. So we call that turtle module, and we pull the function screen out of there. So we use a capital S for screen, and we end it with these parentheses. Now, at the moment, guys, the parentheses probably don't make a huge amount of sense in there. We have to have them in there. Okay, and that's because in a lot of functions we can set parameters, and that's where we would enter the parameters. Okay, so for example, numbers and things, integers, things of that nature. For the screen, we don't really need to do that though. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want to switch the background color of the screen that pops up when we run this program. So we're going to type WN for window dot, and we're going to write BG color for background color. Okay. So we're going to use our parentheses, and in quotes, we're going to put whatever color we want in there. I'm going to do gray, just because I like, one of my favorite color schemes is gray and yellow, so that's what I'm going to be using today. I don't know why. Gray and yellow is really weird. And there we go. We've got a turtle screen. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit enter a few times here, and I'm going to go ahead and put my close screen function in here. So I'm going to write WN exit on click parentheses parentheses. And so that's another function that we're going to do there. Now at this point, guys, if you go ahead and save that as Turtle Tricks, if you've not saved it yet, you can hit F5, run that, and you see, in my case, I just opened up my Turtle graphics screen, and it is gray, right? But you could do whatever you want. You could do pink or blue or yellow or, lime green. I think there's a lime green. There's at least a light green. There might be lime green too. I don't remember. But you can see we've got that. Make sure your exit on click function works by clicking on the screen, and it should disappear. Okay, so there you go. There's one of your new Turtle Tricks right there. You can have a different background color. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and establish a turtle. Again, choose whatever name you want. I'm going to call my turtle Yoda today, and I'm going to say that Yoda is my first turtle, and he's the only one I'm going to be using today. So the way we do that is we say Yoda, excuse me, we pull it from the turtle module, and it is going to be a turtle. So we use capital T, turtle, and we use our closed parentheses there. So now I've created Yoda. Okay. I am specifically going to turn Yoda into a turtle today because we're going to use the shape as something that's important. So I'm going to say Yoda.shape. Okay. You can use one of the other shapes like a triangle or a square or something if you want to, but I'm going to make my Yoda a turtle shape. Okay. So Yoda.shape, and in parentheses I have quotes turtle. So that'll turn the shape of Yoda into a turtle. Okay. I'm also going to give Yoda a color that will show up better on that gray background than my black, and I'm going to go with yellow. So I type Yoda.color. So we are specifying that turtle Yoda is going to be this color, and I'm going with yellow because I think that'll show up nicely on here. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could, go ahead and run that to make sure you have a yellow turtle show up in the middle of the screen, or whatever color you have picked. And ooh, on my screen up there, it doesn't really. On my screen, it looks amazing. On that screen up there, it looks not so amazing. So maybe I'll change the color so we can see this better. I think I'm just going to make him white and see if that works. Looks better. Yeah, you can see that better on the screen. So I'm going to make Yoda white after all. Okay. So Yoda color is white. Now, there's something you can do, guys. As you probably noticed from doing turtles yesterday, when you're drawing lines, your turtle moves at a speed that sometimes seems excruciatingly slow, right? Or maybe it seems too fast, you can change the speed of your turtle. And it's really simple, okay? So type in your turtle's name, because you can make each turtle run at a different speed as well when they animate. And what we do is we just type speed, okay? And in parentheses, we can put any number from 1 to 10, 1 being the slowest, 10 being the fastest. I think default is like a 2. What's wrong? Turtle's not working on that one? Check his. Is it? Okay, so it looks like you're gonna have to go back to your computer. I have no idea why. I'll have to ask. So anyway, I'm gonna put my turtle on 1, and the reason being is early on I want you to see something happening in like slow enough that we can perceive what's going on. If you put a 10, it's ridiculously fast. I will switch it partway through so that we don't have to endure watching the turtle draw things out in slow-mo. Okay, so right now I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to put off to the side there. Although you probably know this, it changes the speed of animation. Okay, when we run that. Okay, so again, if we run this, really nothing too exciting is going to happen at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and run it again just to show you. So we still got our turtle there. So even though I said his speed, we haven't animated the turtle, so he's not going anywhere. So let's make him do something, okay? I'm going to show you a new little feature here where we can have our turtle not only move around and draw lines, but we can have him stamp his imprint in as he goes. So we can actually leave a little trail of turtles in addition to just our lines. Okay, so we're going to introduce a new sort of feature here called the stamp. So I put hashtag stamp in there. All right, and here's what I'm going to do. I want you to see the stamp alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Yoda to lift up his tail and not draw a line. Okay, so we do that. I introduced this yesterday by saying Yoda up, right? It's like we're talking to a dog. Okay, so I just say Yoda up. I use my close parentheses again in case I would need to put any parameters in there later. All right, I'm going to use a for loop because I want Yoda to not just make one stamp. I want him to make several stamps, like 5 stamps, okay? So I'm going to say this, for I. I is just sort of this default variable we use a lot of times. And I'm going to do a range of 4. So I've got my for loop. For I in range of 4, so that'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, right? I'm going to ask Yoda to do something, okay? So I'm going to ask Yoda to do, make sure you get that colon in there or it won't indent properly, right? And you'll get a syntax error. I'm going to say Yoda stamp, okay? Yoda stamp. And so like imagine the turtle like stamping his feet, or you've got like a ink stamp and you're stamping things along the way. Okay. I also need him to move forward. Otherwise, I'm just going to stamp him in his current location 4 times, and that won't really do anything for us. Okay. So what I'm going to have Yoda do is I'm going to have Yoda move forward. Okay. Make sure I spell it right today. Not 5. I'm going to have him move forward 50 paces. Okay. So let's take a look at what my for loop is doing. For I in range 0, it's going to go through that 4 times, right? So it's going to say for 0, essentially, Yoda is going to stamp, and he's going to move 50 paces forward. For 1, right, which is the next integer in the range, he's going to stamp his imprint down, move 50 forward. For 2, he's going to do it again. And for 3, he's going to do it again. Okay? So let's go ahead and run this if you haven't done so already, and watch what I've got now. Okay? So what Yoda did is he stamped himself, right? Moved forward 50. Stamped himself, moved forward 50. Stamped himself, moved forward 50. Stamped himself, moved forward 50. So this Yoda is not a stamp. That's actually my current Yoda. So he made 1, 2, 3, 4 stamps along the way. This is where I'm at right now. Okay? Now, if I had said Yoda, if I didn't say Yoda up, he would have drawn a line between all of those as well. I mean, you could even run that if you wanted to by just taking that Yoda up out. Okay? And you can hit F5 and you'll see what happens. This time, he does in fact draw a line between each one, right? So if you are not wanting a line to be drawn, it's very specific that you have to tell Yoda or whoever your turtle is to make sure they lift that tail up so they don't draw a line. Now, if I want him to draw a line again later, I'm going to have to remember, right? The computer doesn't know I want to do that. We have to tell it to go ahead and put its tail down by saying Yoda down. And I just caught that I almost left those parentheses out right there. Okay, so that's the stamp feature. We can use that for a bit of fun. Now I'm going to show you one that's really, really helpful if you're wanting to draw more complex graphics, and that's the go-to. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is when you look at your screen, where we're on a coordinate system. This should be no problem, guys, from math, right? What axis is it that goes this way, left to right? That's our x-axis, right? Up and down is our y. So what if I want Yoda to go up here? What sort of coordinates do I need, right? I need a positive x and a positive y, okay? If I want Yoda to go over here, I need a negative x, positive y. Very good. If I want him to go down here, negative x, negative y, and over here, positive x, negative y. Okay, so it's important that you know that. Where we start, it is coordinate 0, 0. Okay, now I'm over here now. I don't know where that is. I forget what it is. Like it's like 300 pixels, or it's like 300 by 300. So you've got essentially 600 pixels across, 600 this way, or 600 dots on your line, essentially. Okay, so here we go. Let's run this. I'm going to close that window because I'm going to be running it again. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Yoda. And notice Yoda's tail is still up, so he's not going to draw a line because I haven't specified to put the tail down. I'm going to say Yoda, go to, and I'm going to type in my coordinates, okay? So we're always going to use an XY system, X being first. I want to move him over to the left of the screen, so I'm going to say, hey, Yoda, go to negative 200 on the X-axis and 0 on the Y-axis, okay? If you can't remember that, I'm going to hashtag it over here. It looks like this. It's X coordinate, Y coordinate. Okay, that's how we always put it in. That's how Python is going to interpret it. Plus, it's just good practice, right? It's just good practice to do it that way. Okay, now if you guys want to run that, you can go ahead and run that and watch what happens here. See Yoda moving over? So Yoda has now moved over to X negative 200, Y 0. Okay, so it's a really good feature if you're drawing things where you don't want to think about what angle do I need to get him to go to, lift up the tail, put the tail down. I can just move Yoda or my turtle exactly where I want to go. Okay, so let's now do a little more fun with this. Okay, so I'm gonna play around a little bit just for fun using both the stamp features, the 4 features, and now we used our go-to feature. So we're gonna have a little more fun here. So I'm gonna start drawing some lines here. So I'm gonna say Yoda down. I want to draw a line as I do this. And we'll just kind of play around with this. Okay, I'm going to do another 4. Okay, this guy, I'm going to call my variable z. Okay, in a range of 8. So I want 8 things going on. Make sure I put my colon in there. Okay, so 4z in range 8. I'm going to have Yoda do some stuff. I'm going to have my turtle go forward. So I'm going to say Yoda forward. Let's go 50 paces. Okay. So he's going to do that 8 different times. I'm going to show you something else here too. Now, after he goes forward, I want him to make an imprint of himself. So I'm going to say Yoda stamp. Okay. Make sure you finish with those parentheses. So he's going to go forward 50 paces. He's going to make a stamp, right? Well, now what I want him to do is I want him to go elsewhere, but I don't want him to draw the line that way. So we can actually tell Yoda to go backwards without saying backwards. Okay. I want Yoda to go back to where he started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Yoda forward, but I'm going to tell him to go negative 50. That tells him to go backwards, the same number of paces he just went forward. Okay, so I'm going out 50 paces, leaving a stamp, and then I'm going back to where I started again. And now I'm going to say, because I've got 8 things here, I want to sort of make a little circle-like or starburst pattern. So I'm going to say Yoda turn left at 45 degrees. Okay. Now remember, this is a for loop, so he's going to do this 8 different times. So he's going to go forward, right, at time, or sort of at 4, 0. He's going to go forward 50, make a stamp, go back 50, and then he's going to turn left 45 degrees. Okay, so go ahead and run this once you've got that typed in, and watch what happens. There's my go-to function happening. And remember, I still am in animation speed 0 at this point. So if you crank that up a little, it'll be probably a little more entertaining for you. It'll be quite a bit faster. But there you go, right? There's fun. And now I'm back in that original position. Okay. So a little bit of fun we can have there with the stamp. If I took that stamp feature out, I would still have the same pattern there. I just wouldn't see the turtles at the end, right? I just have little lines going out, so I'd make a little star. So you could do that. If you did it 36 times, you could go by turn left 10 degrees, right? And you could have a more complete sort of wagon wheel, pinwheel looking thing there. Okay. All right. So there's another trick we got. Let's do another one. Let's do another trick here. And Tyler's already discovered this one ahead of time. But what if we want to draw circles? There's actually a simple function for allowing us to draw circles, but he even figured out how to draw semicircles, which I was pretty impressed by the way, without having to use any other trickery. So anyway, let's draw some circles. So I'm gonna send Yoda elsewhere on my screen. Now this isn't like something you would have to do every time, but I'm trying to make this one program to demonstrate everything. So I'm gonna send Yoda elsewhere. So I'm gonna say Yoda up because I don't want to draw a line when I'm going there. Okay, and I'm gonna use my go to again. Yoda, go to. This time I'm gonna send him up into the top right hand part of the screen. So I'm going to go to 200 X and 100 on the Y axis. Okay. So that should send Yoda up, more or less to the top right of the screen. It's not right in the middle or anything. You can start to figure out how it works. Okay. And I'm going to say Yoda down because I want to draw something now and not just moo. And then lastly here, I'm going to draw a circle by saying Yoda dot circle. That just tells Yoda to draw a circle. And I have to put in my radius. I'm going to use a 75 pixel radius here. Okay. And then if we run that, we're going to have to run through everything. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to put the speed up to a 5 temporarily before I run this. So I don't have to get bogged down in the speed, but I can still kind of see what's going on. And there we go. We've got a circle drawn. Very handy little feature. Okay. Some of you can play around and you can draw a circle without using the circle feature. It takes a for loop, okay, but you can draw a circle with a for loop as well. It doesn't really take all that much more programming, but saying Yoda.circle is way easier. It's still less, so that's what we kind of go with, okay? So there we go, some of the features. Now I got one more, okay? We're going to use a specialized range function here to draw some more elaborate shapes, something a little less geometric and maybe a little more organic looking, okay? So I'm going to close that for now. This is the last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give you guys time, okay? So I'm going to put in here special ranges. So far, we've been using the range function, range 8, right? Range 4. Now we're going to use the range function because it's a little more versatile than just that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to move Yoda to another part of the screen. So I'm going to tell him to go up again. So I'm not drawing a line. And I'm going to tell him to go somewhere else. I'm going to say, Yoda, go to, and I want him down in the bottom right hand of the screen. So I'm going to go 200 on the x-axis and negative 200 on the y. I need to get him down there so I've got plenty of space to do this. And then I'm going to put Yoda's tail back down. Yoda down, turtle down. Okay. So now I'm just ready to draw again, right? When I keep doing this, that's just me getting his, tail lifted up and put back down, getting ready to draw. So I'm not drawing lines all over the place and things look a little cleaner. Okay. So here we go. We're going to do a range again. I'm going to call this range G. For G in range. And now I'm going to do something weird with the range. I'm going to put 3 numbers in here, guys. Okay. I'm going to put 1. Okay. I'm going to put a comma in there. I'm going to put 76. Going to put a comma in there. I'm going to put 5. I'm going to end my parentheses here. Okay. And make sure I put my colon in there. All right. So I'm going to hit enter a few times here, guys, so you can see that better on your screen. Okay. All right. Here's my special range. 4G. I need just a little space in here to clean that up a little. All right. 4G in range 1, comma 76, comma 5. Does anybody know what that means? Do you know what that means? You've used it before? Can you enlighten us? What would my range, how about this? What would my range look like if I printed it out? Yeah? Yes, exactly right. She's exactly right. So what I actually said is I basically told it I don't want to start at 0. In this case, it's totally arbitrary. I'm just doing this to show you. Okay, I want to start at 1, counting at 1 for my range. So when it goes through this loop, it'll go, okay, well, we're starting at 1. And I'm going to end at 76. Okay? I'm going to end. So I'm counting 1 to 76. But I'm not counting by ones. I'm not going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting by fives. That's what this 5 says. Okay? So I'm going, it's really going 1, 6, 11, 16, 21. That's how it's actually going to be counting. Does that make sense? It's kind of a weird thing, but what we're setting up here is the actual range we're using, where we start 1, where we end 76, and how big a step we take. Okay, so now I can use this information in making my turtle move around. Okay, so I'm going to tell Yoda to stamp. Okay, every time he moves in this thing. Okay, so I'm going to say Yoda stamp. Okay, and I'm going to tell Yoda to move forward. So in this case, I'm going to say Yoda forward, but I don't want to specify exactly how far Yoda should go. In fact, I want it to constantly be changing. So I'm going to assign his amount forward to G. So that means for 1 in range 176.5, Yoda will stamp and then he'll move forward 1. But the next time through in the iteration, it will say for 6 in range 176.5, Yoda will stamp and he'll move forward 6 paces. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, after 6 it'll be 11. So for 11 in range 176.5, Yoda will stamp and move forward 11 paces. Okay, so you could go ahead and run that if you wanted to. It's going to look a little wonky though because it'll probably go off the screen because this is not what I wrote. Okay. Yeah. All right. You see him take off on the side, and notice that there becomes more and more space as he goes. I don't want him to go off to the side. Okay. That's not why I put him down there. I put him down there because I also want him to move around a little bit more. Okay. So coming back to this, I'm going to add more to my for loop. Okay. All right. Every time he moves forward, G spaces, right? That'll be 1, 5, or 1, 6, then 11, then 21. Okay. I also want him to turn right at 45-degree angle. Okay. Okay. So if I run that again, you can go ahead and do that. Of course, we got to run through the whole thing. So hopefully you've sped it up a bit by now. Okay. Oh, that's cool, right? That's kind of neat. And I made a little spiral, but I also didn't want a spiral. I didn't want a spiral, really, guys. In fact, I wanted more, what do they call it, a French angle, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say every time Yoda turns right 45 degrees, he's going to turn back left again by G degrees. Nice, G. So it's going to constantly be changing, right? The degree he turns left is going to increase through each iteration of my for loop, okay? So you got it? Oh, do you understand what's going on? You seem like you do, so that's good. All right, so now watch what happens when I run this. Oh man, isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I just think that's fantastic right there, right? So that's another little trick we can use. Now you can play around with this a lot, guys. You can have a lot of fun with these kind of ranges and making interesting shapes and loops and things of that nature. So this is what I wanted right here, this particular shape. In fact, I could make the number bigger. I could increase the steps and actually kind of clear up some of this clustering right down here if I wanted to because I'm using the shape feature, right? And yeah, all right. So anyway, there you go, guys. That's just some of the little tricks I wanted to show you today. So go ahead and save that. You want to print that out and turn that in. But also what we're going to do is we're going to have you do these exercises 411 and the turtle racing lab. I think you guys will enjoy the turtle racing lab. All right? So we are done.